Hey, paisans, the time has come. On the air since 2009, the independently produced, non-FCC compliant champ of video game talk podcasting. Here comes Tiger Claw Radio. Here's your host, Critical Failure.
Welcome, everybody. Oh, yeah. This is Critical Failure. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Happy Halloween. This is being recorded on October 31st, 2022. It's Halloween, everyone. It's time to dress up like your favorite characters or something spooky, scary, and go out and get some candy. Yeah, even in the pouring rain like it is here in Southern Maryland. But when I look at the sky, I don't know. I wanted to say something very, very, very uplifting, but it's raining on Halloween. What are you going to say? A lot of good games to play, though. My goodness, it has been a week. It has been a period of 7 days. So we're going to talk about the sale landscape, because that's always an issue. Not an issue, but there's always good stuff going on around this time of year. A little bit about the Dream game, a little bit about the River City Ransom franchise, because it's my favorite, and a little bit about roguelikes, because that's another kick I've been on lately. Stick around. You're listening to Tiger Claw Radio. Our first tune comes from Battle of the Bits. Now, this one is from a battle that's still in progress. The battle being a Yay video game. And the track is from Fade. It's Robo Spider World Domination. How we doing? There we go. All right. Give me a second. I got some notes. Let me pull them up here. So the Halloween sale over on Steam has started. Now, you guys know I like my sales, and I'm a big Steam guy. So let's talk about it. This is a big time of the year. In the past, The pattern is there's a big sale for Halloween. There is another big sale a month later for Thanksgiving. There's another big sale a month later for Christmas. And they call them different things. It's the Halloween sale, then it's the fall sale, then it's the winter sale, something like that. But that's the idea. So this one is a little weird. It's like and I'm not saying, oh, it's the worst sale ever, because game I want is not on sale. And believe me, that's always an issue, always. But I'm more inclined to say, like, they downplayed the whole concept of a Halloween sale this year, which I think is infinitely more, I don't want to say concerning, but I don't know, I just think it sucks. A couple of games in particular. Okay. Here's evidence to back up what I'm talking about. Left 4 Dead 2 is not on sale. I've had Left 4 Dead 2 for years. Most people have it, but it is the quintessential Halloween game. It comes directly from Valve, so they make 100% of all revenue generated from that game. And it's not on sale. I don't think that's because they just want to make additional funds. I think it's just because they didn't bother, which I think that's the part that has me concerned. So a few titles that I looked at, there are good games that are on sale, by the way. So it's not like it's an awful sale. Resident Evil 3, the remake, I never picked that up. That's $11.99, so I'm considering getting that. Castlevania Advance Collection is $11.99. That had my eye a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest. I like the Castlevania games, but I'm not like the diehard fan. And the ones that I really enjoy, I already have. They were in the first collection that came out. Like, I like the NES Classic. I beat that one, and I like. Weirdly enough, I like the Game Boy game, which I believe is in there as well. Castlevania Adventure. What I'd like to see is way back on the Wii, they released like a modern version of Castlevania Adventure, like the Game Boy game. I would like to see that re-released. I don't know if it has been or not, but anyway, Castlevania Advance Collection is $11.99. And you know what I really considered picking up? Believe it or not, House of the Dead remake. It went down to $13.46. And I was like, dumb. This is so stupid. I'm not going to buy that. I really, really got into Typing of the Dead. Like, I played the actual gun version all the way through, and I'm working on the typing version. Really enjoyed that game. So I got to say, House of the Dead remake at $13.46. That is a very much a possibility. I'm disappointed that Night Trap isn't on sale, because that's been on Steam for a few years now, and I always wanted to play Night Trap, and I never did. Kind of a bummer. Not a very expensive game. It's just not a huge deal. I was just kind of hoping I'd be able to get it on the cheap. I recently I gave Darkest Dungeon another try recently. I'm into the roguelikes. I don't consider that game a roguelike because I'm a traditionalist when it comes to rogue, but my older brother, who goes by Defense Online, really liked Darkest Dungeon. So I gave it another try. And the one DLC that I'm missing, Color of Madness, is down to $1.49, so I might end up picking that up as well. I took a dip into the River City Ransom series, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. I finally played River City Girls after it being out for years, and I enjoyed it. Hang on a second, let me see if I can get rid of that static. There we go. But none of the River City Ransom series on Steam is on sale. River City Girls 0, is that what it's called? There's like a demake of River City Girls that looks good. It looks really good. What exactly is it called? River City Girls 0. It's $15. It looks really good. Not on sale, but that just came out. And there's now a Steam listing for River City Girls 2. Although there's no release date, there's no trailer, it's just a few screenshots. We'll talk more about the River City Ransom series in a few minutes, because that's a rabbit hole I want to go down once I'm finished talking about the sale. Did I do everything? Resident Evil 3, Castlevania Collection. Those are my picks. There are other great games available. For example, the Witcher series. I've had Witcher 1 and 2 for many, many years. Never got Witcher 3. That's down to $10 from, I think, there's no way it's still $50, right? Is it still $50 regular price? I think it's a lot, but I don't think it's $50. I think it's like $40 or something. Anyway, you can get Witcher 3 for $10. Realistically, I'm probably not going to pick it up myself just because I haven't put a ton of time into the first 2 games. If I were to get into that, I'd be more likely to just play Witcher 2 finally, which I've never played and has been in my library for years. So that's an option. That's a quick overview of the sale. I mean, there's they have a really cool like feature thing on the Steam main page. It's like it's the spooky sale, and there's like spinning skulls and stuff. But there's no hey, check out the queue to get cards. You know, I don't think they do that anymore. It just doesn't seem, you know, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of hubbub. Give me a second. Let me jump over to my wish list. I think last week we talked about the top four games that I wanted on Steam, and one of them, which I've talked for like 3 weeks in a row now, I've talked about Caves of Cud, which I think is how you pronounce it, and that is finally discounted. Technically, this is a discount. Give me a second. Let me sort by rank. Desktop Dungeons regular price. Caves of Cud is 10% off, so I can get it for $18 instead of $20, which is not a deep discount. But that's $18, and I'm going to be honest, I'm considering it. I'm reaching this point where it's time to start paying for things that I like, you know? So Caves of Cud, it's on my sites. And the only other thing that I looked at, I think, was yesterday on a lark, I opened up Pinball FX3, which I haven't played, in several years. And I'm a big pinball guy, or at least I was a big pinball guy at one time. I still very much enjoy it, but I don't get to play it very often. Pinball requires focus, and I get interrupted a lot. It's just, the way my life is. But I gotta say, man, Pinball FX3 was fun to open up. The way the table structure is set up, there being 100 tables and each one being $5 or whatever is a lot of money. But I found a couple of packs on a key site for really cheap, and I have several tables that left over from, I think there was like a Humble Bundle pack for Pinball FX3, like, I don't know, a long time ago now, more than 5 years ago now. And then when Pinball FX3 first came out, in I think 2013 it took all of my Pinball FX2 tables that I had already and it rolled them over, at least the ones that it could. All that said, the Walking Dead table was like $1.25, so I picked that up, and I had a lot of fun. I must have had that played pinball for like 2 to 3 hours, which for pinball, for me, I think is a lot. So that's definitely something I'm going to run today. I know there was like a Midway Movie Monsters pack for $5, but I'm going to let that go. Yeah, and it's sad because it's really, pinball is really, it's a high score driven thing by nature. So it's set up with pretty good leaderboard support, which includes like filtering by your Steam friends, because you could play a game and then you'd be like, okay, I'm the 31,000th place on the global leaderboard. Well, what does that mean to me? It means nothing. It really doesn't. But if I see 2 or 3 friends who've played the same thing, that means something, and that's something that makes me want to compete. So it kind of sucks having like 100 plus people on my friends list and not a single one of them having Pinball FX3 or whatever. So at this point, the investment would make more sense for me to like gift out that cheap table to like a few people who might be interested in it, so we can have a local high score battle. I think that would be awesome. Yeah, so that's Pinball FX3. It's still a really good game. It looks really good, plays great. I have my complaints. Like there's there's like a power-up system where if you play a table, then you can unlock like a boost. Okay, so you got combos this time, so on the from here on you've got a perk where combos give you 1% more or something like that. And it does a good job if you're all by yourself keeping you playing, but I think it skews the competition a little bit, because it's like if I buy you a copy of The Walking Dead pinball table for Pinball FX3, so we can compete, and then we sit down to play it, I'm gonna have the advantage because I played it yesterday, so I have some like perks unlocked. And in a game that's completely high score based, I think that's a terrible imbalance. Do you know what I mean? Like back in the 80s, when you would play Space Invaders in the arcade or something, when you walked up to that machine and put your quarter in, you had the same tools that everybody else had, and that was really part of what made it worth playing, right? That's why when you got a high score, it was purely skill, and it was something to see in these old high score based games. All right, so that's my gripe / praise about Pinball FX3, an old game that very few people care about. So there it is. Here we go. Just clicking around. I don't check GOG much anymore, but GOG.com, they have their Halloween sale, and I gotta say, it looks like they put a lot more work into it. Genesis Alpha 1 Deluxe Edition is free right now. Never heard of that. Mature content, 17 years or older. First-person horror open world. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's added to my account. So they're going as far as to give away some games. They're going the Epic Games route, I guess. So let's see what most people are buying. Give it a second to load here. It's taking a while to load, actually. We got deals of the day: Space Haven, Stellaris for $7.50. I want to see what everybody's buying. Now on sale, recommended, best selling. Cyberpunk 2077 for $30. Witcher 2 for $2.99. Witcher 3 for $3. Normal price $50. And the original Witcher for $1.50. Those look like the best selling. And then we have The Evil Within at $6. And Quake 2 at $1.99. Wow, Quake 2 is on the best selling list. That warms my heart. Now that may be because Quake 2 hasn't been on GOG for a very long time. Actually, that would make sense. I don't know. There's a couple things here I would be interested in. Let's take a look at Star Trek. Nothing from the Star Trek franchise is on sale. What about my wish list, personally? Hold on, I gotta go to my screen name. Oh, it's loading again. No, I don't want to do this. I want to go to my wish list. Wish list, here we go. All right, we're loading. Army Men World at War, Army Men, World War, not World at War. That is not on Steam, and it is $179. And then we have the original Rainbow Six, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six is $250. That's been on my wish list for a lot of years now. I never bought Ultima 4, 5, and 6. That's $1.50. Wing Commander 5, $1.50. Ultima 8 Gold Edition, $1.50. And the rest of my wish list is not on sale. Wizards and Warriors, not on sale. The Ravenloft series, perfect for Halloween, not on sale. I don't know. Am I just holding these people to a higher standard? Maybe I'm expecting more from a sale that shows up a month before huge sales. Theme Hospitals, $1.50. That's a good buy. Yeah, so GOG has some cool stuff. Diablo isn't discounted. In the past, they've discounted Diablo at least a little bit. It never got a deep discount, but it would go from $10 to $8 or something. But that's a quick overview, rundown of the sale landscape right now. That said, we're about the 20-minute mark. This is the part where I like to thank the sponsors. This is the Patreon-sponsored program, and I like to tip my hat to those keeping the lights on. EmeraldRangers.com, the first and foremost contributor who cut the deal to bring us back. Big thanks to EmeraldRangers.com, as well as Tecmo Balls and Eric Controller. Thank you guys so much. I offer early access to the show when I can, and other stuff. So I hope you're enjoying the party, and let's keep moving. We're going to go back to Battle of the Bits and see what else is going on in the video game chiptune battle. Okay, let's talk about River City Girls. My three favorite games in the history of video games are River City Ransom, Quake, and Wizardry 5 for the Super Nintendo. Hands down, those are the best three, and River City Ransom is right there. So any game that carries that name has a lot to live up to, admittedly. But also, throughout my childhood, all the way up until I think the Game Boy Advance version came out, when I was, a young adult, there was no second River City Ransom game. We had River City Ransom, and then we had the games that are like kind of in the series, like Renegade is technically in that series, but doesn't really play the same. Double Dragon, shares a lot of similarities and things like that, but there was no second River City Ransom game. The only other games that, you could play NES World Cup Soccer, was a completely different game, but it shared the art style and something like that. And then there was there was a dodgeball game. There was no second River City Ransom game. We just didn't get it in North America. So I got big into the River City Ransom franchise when it came to Steam. The Arc System Works put out a bunch of games. They remade a lot of the old Famicom games, like the sports games and whatnot. But River City Girls is now 3 years old, and it's got a lot of polish, I gotta say. And I enjoyed it, I think, more than I thought I would, because one of the things that sticks out immediately about this game is the art style. The distinctive, Technos Japan art style is gone. With the shoulders pushed up and the little almost sort of chibi art style. And that is sorely missed when playing this game. The gameplay is really good. It's really good. I especially like the mechanic where certain people will beg for their life, and you can take them as an ally instead of killing them. I think that's a really cool mechanic. And then it becomes sort of like a Pokemon thing where you're out there trying to make sure you catch everybody at least once. But the art style change is really huge. The open world layout I think is a little confusing for me, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem with the game. I think I'm just dumb. I had the same problem when I played River City Ransom Underground. And to be perfectly honest, I had the same problem when I played the original River City Ransom as a kid. And that game isn't really open world. It's pretty linear. But I also remember getting all the way to the end, and the gates to the school will not open if you haven't beaten all the bosses. So that's one that's like just personally me as a player. If you're a fan of these games, you might not have that issue. But yeah, it is out there. It is still $30, which is like, I can't believe they're still charging $30 for this game after 3 years. And I know I'm not alone on that, because when I look at the Steam page, I have a lot of friends who have it on their wish list, but not a lot who've bought it. So I don't know. I think they would benefit from Steam sales. It's been 3 years. I think they can bring it down a little bit. That's just my opinion. But it's fun. It's really fun. River City Ransom has always shined in local multiplayer, which is something I don't get much these days. And when I do get it, the people that I play with don't want to play a River City Ransom game, which stings really hard. But yeah, there's no net play. Why is there no net play in River City Girls? That seems like a big problem to me. You know, they had it in River City Ransom Underground, and that's much older. Let me open up the page for River City Girls 2 and see if they're planning for netplay to come to that. Yeah, not just netplay, but cross-platform multiplayer. Online co-op, split-screen co-op, cross-platform multiplayer. Yeah, so here's hoping they'll fix it in the second game. So, yeah. Another thing I noticed about the art style change is after that came out, they released the Romance of the Three Kingdoms themed game. What was that called? River City Kingdoms or something. Let's see what they called it. Yeah, River City Saga, Three Kingdoms. That came out very recently, and it went back to the chibi art style that has always been associated with River City Ransom. So it seems more like River City Girls has its own like split, like spin-off series, and the old art style that I love so much has been maintained. So that's what appeals to me, but it makes me more open to what they're doing, since I know it didn't necessarily replace, my favorite thing ever. Just something new alongside it, I guess. They just need to come down in price. They need to come down in price, and they need to fix online multiplayer. Just my opinion. And this is coming from somebody who, in this very same episode, I said, I'm reaching a point where I should start learning to pay for things. Yes, that still holds true. This can come down a little bit. Just a little. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just my opinion. It occurred to me while we're on the subject of the River City Ransom franchise and its spin-offs, because there's a couple. River City Girls is not the only spin-off. There was a River City Ransom story. What was that called? Stay Cool Kobayashi-san, a River City Ransom story. Very similar in that didn't have the chibi art style, and it's very clearly trying to do a spin-off thing. Not a bad game. It wasn't great. River City Girls is better than that game, by the way. But anyway, there are a small handful of old NES games that got direct ports on Steam, and they had to change some things. Like, for example, the Namco Museum games that are available on Steam, those are the NES ports of whatever game. And I know that there's another one for Shadowgate, right? Shadowgate on the NES. That has the Mac Venture series. I'm not talking about the Mac Venture version. There was like an 8-bit anthology that had the NES version of Shadowgate and Deja Vu and Uninvited. Those got NES ports. And then of course there's like the Mega Man series, that's got its collection and things like that. Enough games made it across. someday, somehow, I would like to see the original River City Ransom get a port. You know? And I realize that's a game you can beat start to finish in 30 minutes. So maybe it's not a realistic thing to wish for. I think it'd be cool, though. You know? At the very least, you could make that game in its entirety as an unlockable. Wouldn't that be cool? That'd be a heck of an unlockable. You know, if you beat River City Girls 2, then the original River City Ransom unlocks. Something like that. I don't know. It's a thought. It seems like a lofty pie-in-the-sky type idea, but it would be cool. All right, boys and girls. Let's let that marinate for a minute. You know what time it is? It's time for the fail bag. I actually looked around for the old recording of Kaiser that he made more than 10 years ago, going, wow! That I used to play every time we would do the fail bag. Can't find it. I know it's still around, though. But anyway, if you want to interact with the show, there's 3, count them, 1, 2, 3 places to do it. 1, emeraldrangers.com, where the new episodes come out first. Go there and leave a comment. Visit that website. Read Sendu's writings. Lots of cool stuff there. It's a collaboration project that's still alive. So, big part of TCR, Emerald Rangers. I'm heading up their podcast network. So, yeah, check out the Emerald Rangers Podcast Network. Also, on YouTube, where the previous week's episode is posted, you can leave a comment there. It'll be a week before it makes it to air, but there you go. And you can also head over to the Discord and leave something there. So that's 3 places. So the first place I'm going to go to is the Discord, because I know we have something. And Durabka writes, hang on a second, sip of tea for Durabka. Oh yeah, it tastes like Germany. It's cool that Sims 4 is free. You can play quite a bit before it gets boring. But it's an obvious way to squeeze more money out of a game before they release Sims 5. I'll be checking out Godot, though, through some tutorials to see how well I can use it. The real challenge is making a game that people would want to play, since there are so many options out there. I'm focusing like you on a game I would want to play and see how many people would enjoy it as well. Might not be many, but I'm not going for the biggest common denominator, since then I would be trend chasing, which I despise. I want to make a mostly stable game with no gimmicks, a rather interesting setting that hasn't been done to death, with nice quality of life features. Either good episode, keep them coming. Thanks, man. Good to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. You and I should make games together. We really should. That's what we should do. Because it seems like a lot of what you're after in terms of creating games, none of that stuff is really that hard to do. I bet we could make some great games together. Especially like old ASCII feel, something that needs more of a lore aspect to fill it out. I bet we could do some cool stuff. Think about it. As far as Sims 4 is concerned, yeah, I mean they're trying to generate hype or whatever for new products, but I think that's a really good way to do it. You know, I got Sims 2 for that reason. There was a very short period of time. I think you might have even been the one who told me this, either you or Swingle. Sims 2 was free on Origin for a very short period of time. It was like half a month or something, and then they pulled it. And I if I remember right, I think they were trying to generate hype for something. I don't know. You can generate hype. Panda Express used to generate hype at the mall by handing out free samples of orange chicken. And you know what? It worked. Looking back on my memories of mall culture, one of the things I really enjoyed was, you know, those cafeteria samples that you used to be able to get from Panda Express and Nori Japan and places like that. I do miss mall culture. It was a good time. That was back when you could get video games for the PC in great big cardboard boxes from GameStop of all places. I would walk over an hour, not quite over an hour, usually about 50 minutes, the whole way thinking, I can't wait to get to GameStop. It seems like such a weird world now, but that's how it was. Sean, man, good to hear from you, brother. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you're doing well. let's head over to Emerald Rangers to see what they got. Okay, so Green Phoenix has an article on Roger Rabbit. We've got Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. Power Rangers Dino Force Brave King 5 Counterattack. And there we go. Tiger Claw Radio 427. Sims 4 and Bayonetta 3. Funny how the world forgot about the whole Bayonetta 3 thing so fast. And the comment here is, we got a double post from Sean. He double posted here to make sure I got it. Confirming this was read on the air. Thanks. And I misspelled confirming, so there we go. And let's head over to YouTube. I just posted yesterday a Let's Play of I've been going through Moria. I keep saying Moira, but it's not. It's Moria, isn't it? I've been going through the old school roguelikes, right? Over on roguebasin.com, there's an article about the major roguelikes, the ones like the ones at the very beginning. And it's only a couple. Like I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but it's the original Rogue, right, in the 80s. Moria came out right after it, and then I don't know, a couple more like that. I've been going through those, and Moria was a little difficult to get started with, just because you start with equipment, right? Like you got a leather armor or whatever, a nice little starting sword. None of it's equipped. You got to equip it right out of the gate. And I didn't realize that because I'm dumb. And, some of those tropes weren't set in stone, in the mid 80s. So, I died an awful lot. So I'm hoping to refilm that one. But then a couple days went by after I filmed it, and I was like, I'm never going to get back to this. So I just posted it anyway. So, that's a thing. All right. I got YouTube open. Let's head over to my channel. Oh, that's interesting. The Moria video did very well. Why is that? And that's kind of concerning because I played so badly there. Hang on one second. Let's see what we got. Demez. First of all, Demez, who I haven't heard from in a good long time. Hope you're doing well, brother. I got to respond to you in text as well because I'm not sure if you listen to the show anymore. He writes, did you ever play Gateway to S5? I did that on C64. Never beat it, nor do I even know if it has an ending. No. C64 has a lot of games that are remembered very fondly by a lot of people that I've never tried. I would like to, though. No. Would love to, though. Yeah, any recommendations for the C64 is something that I love hearing about. In fact, over on itch, and this is not related to roguelikes, this is more of a C64 thing, but on itch.io, I follow a couple of people who put out C64 games, and there was a new one for Halloween called Darkland. It is a name your own price horror game for Halloween for the Commodore 64. And I believe, oh no, this one does not. This is just the .d64 file. Some of the games that they sell on itch that are for Commodore 64, like you can get them prepackaged with the emulator, so they just launch in Windows, but this one doesn't. Looks pretty cool though. Yeah, I wonder why people are clicking into this one all of a sudden. I don't know. What are you gonna do? But that said, let's go to the last one on YouTube. Was the Steam app and Typing of the Dead, which, by the way, I went back to Typing of the Dead quite a few times, so much so that I might actually pull the trigger and buy the House of the Dead remake, just because like that turned out to be pretty replayable, I gotta say. And there were no comments on last week's episode on YouTube, and that's just fine because that's from 2 weeks ago. So, is that it? I think that might be it in terms of the fail bag. Hang on, let me stop the recording and just snoop it out real quick. Well, you know what that sound means. I really wanted to make this one longer, but I did the best I could. Halloween's here, and what a holiday for kids, right? Whatever it is you're doing, whether it's playing a spooky game or going trick-or-treating or even if you're just working at your job and doing the best you can to stay alive, I want you to have a good Halloween. Take care of yourselves, do the best you can, because I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you next week.